Today I wanted to talk about OHPs. OHP stands for one-handed pass, which is a slightly misleading name because to me a pass is a move where you change the nunchucks from one hand to the other, but a one-handed pass stays on one hand, so it's not really a pass at all, but it follows a lot of the same paths as passes do. The lanes in the air in which the nunchucks flow through are very similar, so it kind of works, but anyway. There's a few easy ones, and then there are a lot of difficult ones. Overall, the move group's quite tricky because it's very quick and careful control with one hand. Anyway, so yeah, that's enough about them. I'll demonstrate a few and then show you some of the more obscure ones. Okay, first off is the downwards shoulder OHP, which is a fairly standard move to start with. You've got the armbands there, and then where you might normally pass over to that hand there, you're going to do the same movement. You're going to let go with that hand, you're going to catch with the same hand. Okay, so it stays just on the right hand. So that's kind of the first one that most people try and learn, and I'd also recommend that you start with that one. What you've got to get used to the idea of is letting go and catching in one quick motion. Because you're thinking about how quickly you need to get to the catch, it's quite easy to let go too early and the move doesn't work. You need to let go as late as possible to make sure that the nunchucks follow the right circular path. So, you need to try just not letting go at all, just letting it roll over and trying to catch it later, and then getting the let go and catch in one very quick boom. Okay, cool. After that, the second one to learn is the downwards leg OHP. So you go downwards under that leg there, and as you let go, you move across and catch in one quick movement. And again, you've got to leave it as late as possible with the let go to make sure they follow the right path around. Okay, so those are two downwards ones. You go downwards and downwards. So next it's time to look at some upwards ones. So, okay, back to the shoulder. You need to go round the back there, and where normally this hand might come in front of you and catch it, you need to not do that and let go and catch with that one. And the catch on this one is quite tricky because you're coming down at it from above, but you need to turn your hand so that it hits between your fingers and your thumb. So it's you've got to kind of turn your hand right over to make the catch. So it's a little bit more tricky, but I would definitely recommend learning it. And then likewise, you've got the upwards around the leg, where before you went downwards around the leg. This time you go up. Okay? And I find that one a little bit awkward because of the takeout. When you're coming out of it, the natural place for the second swing to stick is back under your leg. And unless you just want to keep going around your leg, you either need to move your leg out of the way on the follow through, or kind of pull it out to your side. So because of that, it doesn't fit quite as smoothly as the downwards one, which just comes out over the top and you can move into any move you like from that. So you can go downwards around your leg and then bring it over. But upwards, unless you move your leg out of the way, it's a little bit of a flow breaker, but it's still a good move. Okay, one-handed around the neck. I'll start with going near side, so you go to, if you're in the right hand, you go to your right hand side, if it's in your left hand, it's the same move, you go to the left hand side. So the near side of your body, which is holding the nunchucks. You go around and then you let go, and this one almost works because you can just hold it there, and if you don't let go, it will come over very near your hand already, so you don't have to move your hand so far to make the catch. So it's quite a quick, easy move to learn, and it works quite well. Then opposite from that is the fast side, so you're going around that way, and that one the catch is slightly trickier because what you need to do is kind of stick your thumb out and bring the rest of your hand thumbs up, so as it comes around it hits your thumb, then you unwrap your hand and go around the stick for the catch. I mean, you don't have to put your hand all the way into a thumbs up position there, you can leave it kind of open like that. The point is that it hits the top of your thumb and then you fold your hand around to the catch. Okay, so then after that you move the idea of the neck one down to the waist. I'm actually not great at the waist one, this one I quite often make mistakes with. Hey, there we go. But it's a very good move, and one I'm still trying to learn reliably. Damn it, I can't do it with up now. There we go. Because for OHPs, I think a lot of the difficulty depends on the distance between the release point and the catch, and the waist, you're going from there all the way back around to there, and you've got to do that in the same motion of your neck, you're doing that. So it's a lot of bigger movement, and to maintain the same sort of precision over the bigger movement is a lot more challenging. Which is why I'm amazed how fluent Yeti is here. I mean, he doesn't matter how far his hand has to move, so just bang bang, point to point, always makes the catch. Very, very impressive technique. Okay, so that's far side around the waist, because you're going to the far side of your body. There's also the equivalent near side one, where you go around that way. And the difficulty I find with that one is to do it like what I think is properly. As it goes round, you need to be getting your thumb inside this curve of the stick to catch there and take away smoothly. And that's something I struggle to do. What I find happening a lot more is that it goes around and it hits my stomach, and then I make the catch afterwards, which turns it into kind of one-armed pass bounce catch, which isn't quite like true technique to my way of thinking, but it normally means I can catch the move and keep going, but it's something I'd like to refine to get my thumb slightly further under the catch. Okay, that covers near arm, near leg, and the two main horizontal pathways. Then we've got the other two limbs, far arm and far leg. So okay, going back to the the upwards. When you switch over from near side to far side, you do it with a figure eight. Although like this is an upwards swing, if you go over there, it's still an upwards swing because it's still hit upwards into someone. So there's still upward swings, but because your wrist is on the far side of your body, it kind of reverses the wrist direction. So the outside physical direction stays the same, but in relation to the wrist, it reverses. So the technique for the upwards one is very similar to, I don't know if I agree with what I'm saying. I might cut that. Anyway. Right, so from the downwards, from the upward spin on the near side, you go across your body and over the arm and make the catch underneath the arm. And then for the downward spin, you go under your arm and make the catch over the top. Now that one's a little bit more tricky because as it comes out, sometimes you have to lift to get the momentum to pull it out the top of your arm. And what I actually find myself doing rather than that is pulling down more and pushing up with that arm. Just because it feels more natural to me than making the big lift to bring it out. A lot of my techniques I like to keep quite close to the body. So for me, that one, I quite often pull that arm, which makes an extra spin on that side, which again is not quite kind of perfect flow for me. I would like to get smoother at the pull out over the top catch, but keep it as close as possible so I can just kind of hover over my arm.